plastic. So this video might make no sense, but basically, I've done things other than just Lego. I've done miniature modeling before, for those who did not know. I used to play Warhammer 40k. That is originally how I got introduced into miniatures and that kind of stuff. And I used to play Dark Angels. I still do some miniature work here and there, but you may be wondering, what the fuck does this have to do with Lego? Well, these guys, right? So these were the original prints for my Hailfire droid. These have been replaced with a new version, as you saw in the video of my Hailfire droid. Well, now that these have been replaced, we got these. And as you can see, they're painted. So, this is about painting, and specifically painting plastic. So I have painted before. I've painted the miniatures, some of which you will see right here. And these specifically, I also painted. But this was kind of a process. To paint with Lego, it's a little different. The plastic is very finicky, in my opinion. The sprays that you are using are very specific. So there's a difference between the 3D printed plastic and Lego plastic. So for the Lego plastic, I usually use this guy. So this is Rust-Oleum. I either use Rust-Oleum or I think it's called like Krylon or something. I've bought these kind of cans in Ace Hardware. These tend to work fairly well. Based off of the plastic you are using, you are most likely going to need a primer first and then the proper spray. When I was spray painting the Lego that I had as a commission for a Daft Punk model, which you will see here, I had no need for primer. I had 3 different tests. I did a test with primer, I did a test without primer, and I think another test for a different kind of product, and I could do it without primer. So I used a Rust-Oleum, but I used a chrome and a gold Rust-Oleum color, spray painted it directly on. I had no problem. You may be wondering, how did I accomplish this? Well, the answer is fairly simple. Mega Bloks. So when I was younger, my parents kind of just bought me any building toy at all, and that building toy was also Mega Bloks. I also got Connects as well. And I use Mega Bloks to build a frame to spray paint the Lego that I am using for commissions. So if someone asks me for a specific model and they would like it to be spray painted because Lego just doesn't have that color or that color is very expensive, it is fine to just spray paint it. I know for some people that's seen as sacrilegious, but, you know, the customer is always right. I do what the customer asked, and for example, for the Daft Punk thing, it was for the person's dad. They wanted a Daft Punk model because Daft Punk had broken up, so I spray painted the pieces. So I would build kind of a scaffolding using Mega Bloks, and as well as Mega Bloks base plates, and I would just have that outside, spray paint it with this guy, and bam, problem solved. For these wheels, right, as you can see on the spray, it didn't turn out as good as I would have liked. I had actually masked this so I could get 2 different colors. So I would mask this section here, spray paint back and front, and then I would mask all of it but the actual tread itself, and then spray paint it again. You can see those images of up here of how it looked like. This did not turn out as I had planned. There was a lot of bleeding into the different colors. So, for example, if you look really closely, like right here, for example, right, you'll see there's a bit of orange in there, and I had to respray it again and again to try to get this kind of 2-color system, right? Now, this paint is not very expensive. It's about $10 to $15 for a can. So, for example, for this, right, it was $30 to spray paint this, which is not bad. You know, I tell the customer, like, hey, here's roughly about how much it's going to cost. Buy the sprays, spray it. They tell me if it's good or not. The customer did not like this, and I also didn't like this. I don't think it turned out how I wanted it to. So I did it a different way. Bam. So these are the new wheels. These are the wheels that I will be sending to the customer. They are the exact same as these wheels. I'm not using these wheels anymore. You will never see these again. Let me make room. So here are the 2 wheels, right? And as you can see, these wheels seem dirty. If you know anything about miniatures, Games Workshop makes some amazing miniatures, but they're just crazy expensive. I use specifically Games Workshop paints for this. So that's why it turned out as good as it did, I think. It was a primer, then a base coat, then a top coat, a wash, then a varnish. That's a lot of steps, but the end result, I think, is much better than this. This is not bad if you're on a budget. This, for the look and the design that we were looking for, this is fantastic. Now, here's the problem with this. Give me 1 second. Guess how much that costs? That is $70 worth of paint right there, including the brush. So each one of these cans is almost $20. That is insane. Yeah, the quality of this looks incredible compared to other modeling colors, in my opinion, like Vallejo and Testers and that kind of stuff. But $70! Why? Games Workshop, fix your shit. It's good. The customer was fine with paying for this. This is how much the materials cost. I told him, it's going to be a lot of money. He said, I don't care. I want it to look perfect. It does look perfect. It turned out exactly how I was wanting it to. It would have been even better to add more flourishes onto this. Maybe the 3D print could have been more complicated, but then it wouldn't be a Lego model, and I wanted to try to keep the Lego aesthetic as much as possible, on top of the fact that complicating this means that it won't work on the Hailfire droid anymore. Or at least that was a possibility. So that's kind of how the spray painting of these wheels work. It's very different for when you do it with Lego, because this plastic is a little finicky because it has a lot of ridges and texturing, and it's PLA instead of there's a bunch of different types of plastics out there. So that kind of caused some difficulties with this. Using the cheaper for just normal Lego, I think, is fine if you want to do the custom Lego stuff that some people do, where they take minifigs and make their own versions. I would actually recommend going with this. It is amazing. It is very expensive, but it will get the job done, and it'll get it done very well. Now, of course, you're probably wondering, how does this look? I will show you now. So let's do a little jump cut. And there we go. This, I think, looks much better than this guy. The dark reddish brown wash that I put over the whole thing really accentuates kind of the muddiness and griminess of the wheels. So all in all, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Yeah, it's a lot of money to get this kind of look. Yeah, not everyone's going to be able to do this. I'm fortunate enough that the person that I'm working with really wants it to look as perfect as possible. So I would recommend this kind of approach if you're able to, if you have or are planning to get the Hailfire droid available from Jar Jar Bricks. This is not a bad thing to do and is worth the time and effort. You can do this if you're on a budget. $20-$30 to do this is not bad, as long as you have really good tape. My tape might have been bad, might have caused some of the bleeding. But if you got the funds and you want that perfect look, this looks pretty damn good. And it still works as long as you varnish. And the main reason you want to varnish, right, is this can right here. This will make it so that when you paint your model and the model is moving, your paint will not scratch off. That's the whole point of it, is it seals the paint in here, so that as you are moving with this, as you are playing with this, you're not damaging the actual look of the model, which is good. That's very important. Usually you'll do that if your models are chilling for a long time, or you drop it or something, and the paint will chip due to wear and tear. Lego, normally you probably wouldn't have to really think about that, but because these are inside of this, I would recommend a varnish coat. Yeah, it's a $20 can of varnish, but Games Workshop paint's expensive. So that's kind of the end of this video. I know it's a weird one, kind of rambling, kind of different. So updates on my end. Didn't take my vacation that I was supposed to take last week, so I'm actually taking it this week. So since this is being released on Monday, I will be on vacation for 6 days with my parents in Palm Springs. ATAA still not done. I'm still working on it. The Alpha XG1 that I did as a commission for someone is now available publicly on my Rebrickable. If you are interested in that, check out my Rebrickable. It is up for sale currently. At some point, the proper model will be shown, hopefully, and you guys will be able to see the video for that as well, either by me or the person who commissioned it. So, as always, thank you so much. Like, comment, and subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys next time.